Hello, I am live. One moment. That's for later. Just realized where I'm sitting and I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably put that away. This is on Imagination from Shifting Perspectives. I really want to talk about something specific for teachers. I was 5 years old, 4 years old when I found the stage, and it became this massive passion of mine beyond it ignited everything I was. I could not figure out for the life of me why the Library of Alexandria focused so much on theater and story. Couldn't figure it out. I viewed that as probably the most irrelevant thing told. And I'm an actress. I have a severe passion for the theater. And even I couldn't understand why they would value it. I thought, like so many, that theater was for entertainment, but it's not. And it is. It is. When I ran Brain to Books, I hunted for the answer, for the question, for the answer to the question, why do we tell story? And it wasn't until a few weeks ago that I realized that we tell story because it's how we learn. It is our learning style. Story is how we all learn. But we really learn solid at level 8 when we can finally see that story is so deeply connected to learning. And I never realized it. We do it for enjoyment because we are hardwired to enjoy learning. That's right. So we are instinctively drawn to story, theater, TV, dramas, gossip, sitting around a fire pit with a guitar and just waiting to see who is going to linger and just gravitate toward the fire, because our subconscious minds are wired. Fire, learning, education, fire, story, learn. Beautiful, isn't it? Amazing how the brain works. Now, they knew this at Alexandria. They knew it. So they prized it and they valued it. So they taught, get this, they taught theater and oral tradition and epic story. In fact, if you look at the 9 muses and the 9 courses studied at Alexandria, they all have the word poetry in it, epic poetry, oral tradition, bard tradition. It's extraordinary. You know who else figured that out? The Celts figured it out. Ireland figured it out. In one of my previous videos, I talk a lot about bards. We really are going to learn a lot from Ireland. I'm going to be pulling a lot of their material and their lessons and culture into Alexandria. They were another massive learning hub. You know what was another massive learning hub? The Islamic Golden Era. Every one of these cultures, these learning epicenters, were destroyed. Every one of them. The Crusades. Every one of them was destroyed by the same people, the Holy Roman Christian Empire. They were deliberately stamping out education, doing it on purpose. I wish I knew why. That's the one thing I can't get, is I don't understand why. I'm figuring it out. It's coming to me. Teachers are highly valuable. There is great power in story. The greatest power is in story. So the first rule of becoming a teacher at the Healing Garden is learning how to tell story. And who better to tell story than actors and actresses? My favorite teacher, I had 2. Mrs. Brooks, who is English, and drama. And my Spanish teacher, Mrs. Treadwell. My God, woman, I miss you and I love you. Happy El Cinco de Mayo. I loved Mrs. Brooks's class because she would perform the artwork. I remember this one day, we were going over Romeo and Juliet. Her husband was my history teacher. So we had the Brookses, which is like this school duo. Oh, it was colorful. And there was this one day when Mr. Brooks stepped into the room and started spewing Shakespeare. And his wife immediately leapt into character and started quoting it back. And the two of them did this whole little, suddenly we were watching our history and English teacher performing the balcony sing of Romeo and Juliet in the middle of classroom. We were learning. We were learning. Her classes were the most vivid because she used theater to teach. Now, I deal with stage fright. Every time I go live, every time I do anything with my podcasts, I have this moment of panic, anxiety, and I have to work through it. I cannot imagine standing in front of a room of people and delivering an entire speech. And it is my dream to be a public speaker. I will be a public speaker. And I don't know. Just a moment. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I will do it. I know how to do it. I sit back and I accumulate all the anxiety and the fear and the what ifs, and I compound them into this ball of energy. And I say, all right, fear, you just became my courage. Fear and courage. Everything is on a spectrum. I love talking like this. I love talking about this. I love this example. Humility and self-value. They are absolute opposites, and they are on the same emotional spectrum. When balanced, humility and self-value sit in the middle. Have too much, the humility goes away. It's the humility that pulls it back. Likewise, the less you lose of one, the more you gain of the other. Every time. I can see me writing the laws of emotions. I will be writing the laws of emotions. They follow actual scientific laws like physics. I will be doing that project next when it comes to me. But I can start to see emotions moving as if they are laws of physics. And I will be teaching you the laws of emotions. They are highly logical. Wow, that's going to be a huge project. So the laws of emotion is that the less of one you have, the more you have of the other. That they require a pull on each other, an actual pull. So that if the self-value goes up, the humility will pull it back. It's not being pushed, it's pulled. Likewise, if you have too much humility, your self-value is decreasing. This is where suicide comes from. This is where depression comes from, because you lack self-value. Over here on this spectrum, you lack humility. This is where narcissism is. This is where inflated ego is. This is where that arrogance and cockiness, because they lack humility. So you bring that humility back and it pulls it in place. You bring that self-esteem up, that self-value, and it pulls it back. And then the two balance themselves out and they just sit pulling with this energy constantly, holding each other in check in the right amount of tension and balance. Now, you have a new energy that's born out of that particular frequency. Because there is a friction. When you have an energy, when the emotions come together, there is a friction. Because that is what they're pulling against. Don't have that friction, you have too much of a negative. Don't have that, you have too much of the positive. And this will punch out too much negative, positive, and this will punch out too much negative. We call them negative and positive emotions for a reason, because they're putting out negative charge and positive charge. You need a balance. When you have the balance, the energy changes, so it's neutral. Are you ready to start learning emotions my way? Story opens the door to everything. You can overcome fear. When you overcome fear, you realize who you really are. You were called to be a teacher. Teachers lead. Teachers have authority. Teachers have courage. And if you're stuck at a 3 trying to teach, if you're stuck at a 2 trying to teach, if you're stuck at a 4 trying to teach, you are a 5 because you are a teacher. You might be a 6. You might be a 5 being pulled to a 6. You want to know what those are called? Those are called healers. Teachers are 5s. Healers are 6s. You're the same people. Teachers are healers. Did you know? Oh, yes, they are. That's one of life's secrets. Teachers are healers. You just heal in a different way. Technically, we're all healers. We just all heal differently. And it's going to take all of us working together to heal this planet. And I know how. It starts with you, teachers and parents. That is your responsibility. We all know we would do anything for our children. You know what I would do for my children? I would give them the world for free. I would give them anything that I could to guarantee a place where they could do better than me. That I would give up all of my humility for. It's the ultimate humility is your children. Because you would do anything for them. You would turn yourself into whatever you need. I know how much you love your children because I love mine just as much. For this reason, I give away the Triadic Healing and the Healing Garden free to parents and teachers. Because I don't have to convince you. I don't have to tell you the importance and what you're going to save. I don't have to read you the statistics. You are going to do it because you want a better place for your children. And you are freaking desperate. You are as desperate as I. Because all I wanted was a better place to raise my children. I know I am one of millions. When you have a child and you feel guilt for having to bring a child into this world, you want children. You know you're going to love them. And you feel horribly guilty for bringing a child into this world. I cried for 9 months, thinking, how dare I bring a child into this world in this condition? I get it. You are just like me. For some reason, we never talk about that guilt, do we? We never have ever sat down as a group of women and fathers and men and mothers and say, hey, did you have that overwhelming guilt too? Like, how the fuck could I even think of having a child in this world? I am a horrible person to put this kind of world on top of my children. Well, let me ask you, what if we can make it better? And I know we can. Because I have a plan, I have a direction, I can see it all. It is possible, so very possible in this lifetime. So I'm going to be starting this project very soon. I have to get the preparations in order. And when I do this, I am going to be offering the Healing Garden free to parents and children. No questions asked. Because I know you are immediately going to want to give this to your children. You are going to immediately want to make their lives better. I will be teaching you how to do triadic healing, how to do combination theory on yourself. It is my full everything, all of it. My $30,000 bundle package, I'm giving it to you, parents and teachers, because you are cultivating our future, and you know it. And it's the time to finally set this right. The whole package. Teach your children. I will be including 2 additional courses inside of this, guaranteeing you have them. One is how to become a better teacher, how to use triadic healing to become a better teacher through storytelling and philosophy. And we are going to cram a lot of information in a short period of time, but you're going to have all the utensils. You can go back and pace yourself as you need to fit your lifestyle. I made sure the educational material is fit for levels 5s, 4s, and 6s. You'll do fine. Okay. The other thing that I am strongly focusing on, oh, do not have a brain fart now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Parenting. That's it. I will also be including a how to parent. So you will get the triadic healing. You will learn how to do this yourself, and then you will have the ability to teach it properly to your children. So you'll have triadic healing. You will be setting the example. Once we have the example set, the next stage of this, teachers, I recommend you take this course also. It will be included. In addition to that, you're going to have the second option to teach it to your children effectively. And you'll also be given the teaching tool to pass it on with proper communication to the children. And you're going to have to accommodate each perspective level. Now, so this is it. This is that thing that's never talked about again. Teachers have to learn to be parents, and parents have to learn to be teachers. You don't get to be one without the other. The minute you become a teacher, you're a parent. The minute you're a parent, you're a teacher. There is no other way. You are healers. So I'm going to be giving this to you. Once it's available, this is what I want you to do. Comment on this video below. If you want it, comment. And I will go through with each and every one of you and reach out. Better yet, subscribe to my newsletter, because I will be announcing this in my newsletter. This is Operation Imagination. So when you see Operation Imagination inside of my subject letter, this is it. This is Operation Imagination. It's in the hashtag down below. I believe that is everything. So thank you so much for your time. We're going to go ahead and get this out there. This will be my other video available, and we are all set. So again, thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.